2016 earthquakes struck one volcanic island, and a single 24-hour window alert stayed green. Not cautiously green or green with asterisks, plain green. Same as a quiet, ordinary summer Tuesday. This is not some distant, dormant mountain. It is Europe's tallest active volcano, Mount Teide, deep below Tenerife's pine forests. Something pressurized has been knocking from the inside hard. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what that green light is hiding. Drop your city in the comments right now. We want to know who is watching tonight. Tenerife is the largest of Spain's Canary Islands, sitting 60 miles off the northwest African coast. Mount Teide rises 1,298 feet above sea level, the highest point in all of Spain. It last erupted in 1909. 116 years of silence, but the ground beneath never went quiet. Since 2016, seismologists have logged 15 separate swarms of hybrid earthquakes beneath this single mountain. To understand why this matters, you all need to picture what actually lives beneath that island. Picture the volcano not as one hollow chamber waiting to blow, but as two stacked rooms. At the very bottom sits the magma system, deep, slow-moving, heavy, and mostly quiet for now. Above it sits something far less discussed, the hydrothermal shell, just as critical to this story. That shell is a vast, cracked network of superheated water and volcanic gas trapped inside solid rock. Think of it this way: magma is the burner, and the hydrothermal shell is the water inside. Scientists gave these earthquakes a specific name, hybrid events, and that label tells the whole story. Each hybrid quake carries two waveform signatures stacked on top of each other and recorded simultaneously. The first signature is a sharp, sudden snap, the sound of solid rock breaking under pressure. The second is a long, resonant hum immediately after, like a struck bell, slowly fading out. That long hum is pressurized fluid pushing through cracks left open by the rock break above. On a seismograph, a regular earthquake looks like one sharp spike that vanishes almost instantly on screen. A hybrid event looks like that same spike followed by a long, slowly decaying tail still ringing. Seismologists read that tail like a doctor reads an EKG. It shows what the wave passed through. That tail is not magma, physically forcing its way upward toward the surface, not yet. What it shows is volcanic fluid redistributing pressure through existing cracks inside the hydrothermal layer. The difference between fluid moving and magma rising is the entire scientific argument right now in Tenerife. Between August 2025 and February 2026, these swarms hit peaks of hundreds of micro-earthquakes every hour. All 15 swarms since 2016 clustered at the same depth 6 to 9 miles below Pico Viejo. That consistency is actually reassuring. It means the same pressure release valve is doing its job. Now here's the detail that changes the whole story. Scientists call it the caprock layer. That caprock is a dense rock seal pressing down on the volcanic system from directly above. As long as that seal holds, pressure finds hairline cracks to squeeze through, producing these swarms. The real question is, how long can that rock seal absorb increasing pressure before something changes? Here's where things get wild. Local scientists have gone from concerned to publicly and openly furious. Spain's National Geographic Institute, the IGN, recorded over 2,000 seismic events in one 24-hour period. But only 216 of those events appeared as plotted dots on their official public earthquake map. A second agency, Volcanoes, detected 4,500 events that same period and mapped just 516 of them. Local volcanologists called this a disgrace, accusing the agencies of sweeping raw data under the rug. The agencies defend this, saying low-magnitude events require stricter thresholds before appearing on public maps. Independent scientists fire back: you cannot do real science with selectively filtered or manipulated data. One geologist put the political reality bluntly: scientists who raise too many alarms get funding cut. Their job, one expert wrote, is to calm the public crisis, not disclose everything the data shows. Underneath this entire debate sits the thing Tenerife's tourism industry absolutely does not want addressed. Have you visited the Canary Islands? Drop your experience in the comments. We read everyone. Tenerife welcomes roughly 6 million tourists every single year, most arriving in peak summer months. Tourism drives the overwhelming majority of this island's economy. It is essentially the entire engine. When the alert is green, hotels stay full, flights keep landing, and the revenue keeps flowing. The moment that light flips to yellow, just yellow, not orange, not red headlines change overnight, travel companies cancel, tourists rebook destinations, and insurance carriers begin asking very expensive questions. This exact same tension is playing out 200 miles away in Naples, Italy, at Campi Flegrei. Campi Flegrei has sat at yellow alert status for more than 13 consecutive years without erupting once. In May 2025, Italy declared a state of emergency after a magnitude 4.4 quake shook the caldera. GPS stations above Teide confirm the ground surface has risen 1 full centimeter since the year 2023. Carbon dioxide sensors at the crater show elevated emissions, a known and critical early warning signal. Now let's talk about what these numbers mean for the 900,000 people living on this island. 60,000 of those residents live inside zones classified as having the highest volcanic risk on Tenerife. For context, when La Palma erupted in 2021, around 6,000 people had to leave their homes. A single high-risk neighborhood in Tenerife holds more people than that entire La Palma evacuation combined. The La Palma eruption destroyed more than 3,000 buildings and caused over $1 billion in damage. More than 7,000 people were displaced from their homes, some for months, many for much longer. Scale that human cost by Tenerife's full population, the numbers become almost impossible to plan around. On any peak summer day. Tenerife also hosts approximately 1 million tourists on top of its residents. Those visitors would need to exit through airports or ports the same infrastructure that lava reaches first. Roads ringing the volcano are historically the first routes cut off by lava flows and landslides. One geologist published a question that became impossible to ignore. How do you move 1 million tourists? He wrote his answer at midnight after watching the data all day, every man for himself. As recently as 2025, Tenerife had no published evacuation routes and no official designated shelter centers. In September 2025, the island ran its first large-scale volcanic evacuation drill in recorded history. Around 1,000 participants, emergency workers, military, and scientists tested logistics during that single exercise. That is 1,000 people rehearsing a scenario involving 900,000 residents and 1 million visitors simultaneously. Local scientists published a direct and stark warning quote, "We are running out of time to react." They estimate the volcanic system is now at step 3 on an internal 10-step readiness scale. Step 4 would bring visible surface precursors, shallower quakes, sharp gas spikes, and measurable ground cracking. If those signals shift quickly, every hour the alert spends at green costs real evacuation lead time. The official position from both agencies is that low-magnitude quakes alone do not justify raising alerts. Residents watching the seismographs each morning say that official explanation grows thinner each passing week. In February 2026, the alert finally rose to yellow, exactly what local scientists had demanded for months. Yellow alert does not mean eruption is imminent. It means the system has entered heightened monitoring. Scientists warn that if every swarm triggers headlines, communities stop listening when real warning actually matters. La Palma scientists tracked magma building underground for an estimated 15 years before it finally surfaced. Tenerife's anomalous activity has been building since 2016, nearly a full decade of accumulating signals. Through those 9 years, the official public alert spent almost all of its time right at green. There has been no eruption, not in 2016, not in 2022, and not yet today. The question scientists now publicly ask is not whether this system is active. Clearly, it is. Now let's look through an American lens, because Tenerife is genuinely not a unique situation. Yellowstone National Park sits above one of the largest active volcanic systems anywhere on this planet. In 2017 and 2018, Yellowstone recorded more than 2,700 small earthquakes in a single 4-month swarm. Through that entire sequence, Yellowstone maintained normal alert status, and the swarm eventually stopped on its own. That pattern looks remarkably similar to what has been cycling beneath Tenerife for 9 years straight. In California, Long Valley Caldera near Mammoth Lakes has been in continuous documented unrest since 1978. That is 47 years of earthquake swarms, ground uplift, and CO2 venting without a major eruption. Mount Rainier is 60 miles from Seattle. Experts rank it among America's most dangerous active volcanoes. Its volcanic system hosts a massive hydrothermal layer, the same category driving the Tenerife swarms. Mount St. Helens, Mount Hood, and Mount Shasta all sit above active hydrothermal systems like Teide. In every one of those locations, the same debate runs how much unrest justifies raising alerts. In every tourist-dependent region near a volcano, economic pressure on that alert decision is real. The USGS runs a 4-level volcano alert system for every monitored American volcano, green through red. Are you within 100 miles of an active volcano or fault zone? Drop your city below now. Hawaii's Volcano Observatory has monitored Kilauea independently from political pressure since 1912. That model works. Iceland's Met Office tracks 6 active volcanic systems in real time with fully open public data access. Local Tenerife scientists are demanding the exact same model in independent, politically untouchable observatory. And Vulcan formally denied a public request this year to publish volcano monitoring data in real time. Their stated reason, that raw data might cause public alarm, did not go over well locally. When agencies withhold raw data, that vacuum fills with social media speculation and uncontrolled fear. The deeper question this raises is one every American living near any hazard zone should be asking. What thresholds actually trigger a change in your local alert level, and who makes that final call? In the U.S., that decision belongs to USGS volcanologists, and the full process is publicly documented. American volcano bulletins publish within hours of any significant event, a standard Tenerife currently lacks. The New Madrid seismic zone cuts under Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Last major rupture was 1811. The same preparedness gaps that worry Tenerife experts exist in the New Madrid region right today. The Hayward Fault beneath the Bay Area is considered overdue for a magnitude 6.7 or greater event. Every U.S. zone on this list shares Tenerife's core tension: monitoring data versus public communication. Scientists in Tenerife do not dispute the risk, they dispute the public's right to see the data. Here's what the second source on this story got right, and it is a critical detail. 15 swarms at the same location, same depth, same pattern. That recurring consistency is reassuring data. A new pathway in an unexpected location would be far more alarming than this familiar recurring pattern. Right now, 3 specific changes would need to occur before scientists escalate toward real eruption concern. First, ground deformation must accelerate significantly, meaning the surface above the magma visibly lifts or tilts. Second, volcanic gas ratios must shift sharply, especially sulfur dioxide, signaling fresh magma ascending. Third, seismic depth must migrate upward, quakes shallowing from 9 miles deep toward the surface. None of those 3 signals has triggered as of the most recent published monitoring data available. That is not a reason to stop watching it, it is a reason to watch more carefully. Knowing those 3 signals means you're not dependent on any agency press release for your safety. Now let's get practical, because understanding the risk is only the first half of being prepared. Here are 5 things anyone living near any active volcanic system should do starting this week. First, download the USGS Earthquakes app right now. Regardless of where in America you live, that free app sends push alerts the moment any earthquake above your chosen threshold hits nearby. Second, bookmark your nearest USGS Volcano Observatory page and check it once every week without fail. Observatory bulletins report what is changing before any media outlet translates it into breaking news alerts. Third, build a 72-hour go bag with water, medications, document copies, and small cash bills. Fourth, identify 2 evacuation routes out of your neighborhood that do not share the same highway. In volcanic events, lava and landslides cut primary roads. First, secondary routes are the ones that work. Fifth, establish a communication plan with one trusted contact who lives outside your immediate hazard zone. When cell towers go down in any disaster, that outside contact becomes your family's entire anchor point. Japan runs the world's most comprehensive volcanic early warning system, and the outcomes prove it works. Japan monitors 111 active volcanoes with dedicated alert levels, public dashboards, and mandatory evacuation zone maps. When Ontek erupted in 2014 with almost no warning, Japan's protocols still helped limit the death toll. Iceland publishes every piece of volcano monitoring data in real time, exactly the model Tenerife needs. Share this with one person near any volcano, caldera, or active fault zone today, not tomorrow. Now let's close where we started those 2016 earthquakes, inside a single 24-hour window. That number is not the story. What officials chose not to say about it publicly is. The gap between what instruments detect and what the public hears is widening not only in Tenerife. That gap exists in the Cascades, in Long Valley, and in every economically pressured hazard zone. A volcano does not negotiate with tourism season, with property values, or with any political calendar. When Teide finally speaks at full volume, it will not check hotel occupancy rates first. Communities that survive major volcanic events almost never prepared after the official alert was finally raised. They prepared years before when instruments first showed things officials did not want to acknowledge. That choice to prepare quietly while others dismiss every signal is available to you right now. Drop your city below and tell us which volcanic system or fault zone concerns you most. We covered the role of hydrothermal systems in our Krakatoa episode. That link is in the description. Next on Earth, Unraveled, we go inside the 3 real signals that would change everything here. The deformation spike, the sulfur surge, and the depth migration that matter above all the others. Y'all have asked what real warning looks like. That question now has its own full episode. Stay alert, stay informed, stay prepared, because this Earth never issues advance notice to anyone.